Welcome back everyone to another technical analysis, and today we'll take a look at the Polygon token. Now first things first, we are seeing an interesting pattern forming here. Basically after sweeping from these local lows, which was one of the major support zones on the bigger time frame, let's say it was like $0.16 basically. After we had this first doomsday dip, we had some kind of like an accumulation distribution area, breakdown retest, and then a sharper downside movement. But at the same time, it wasn't a really sharp movement, it was more of a steady movement with proper slow moves without any kind of sharp, like these kind of sharp or like these kind of sharp momentums. So can actually count this as a steady downside movement. And then eventually we had a really volatile upside momentum filling the previous local low area support zone, and now price is yet again at this steady downside movement phase. So as of now, we have swept away from the local lows, the new local lows of course. So going to put this area here. Right now we are seeing the price is slowly breaking down from here. So most probably we'll see a similar movement to here. So the same movement that happened here to happen here, which means most probably we'll see some kind of movement to lower zones, then a retest, and then a continuation like this with the steady movement. So let's take the ghost bar pattern and we take it like this. So probably somewhat this kind of movement might happen. After we see the steady movement to lower zones, then again a volatile movement to the upper zones, similar to this one. Now, ideally we should have seen some kind of upside momentum here as well, because we were in this steady phase for quite some time, but we didn't see it, and sellers have taken over with 5 consecutive days, which broke down and swept completely all the liquidity from the buyers. And now that's the ideal, or that's the game plan overall on the Polygon coin token, whoever calls however. So let's go to the smaller time frames and check what kind of opportunities we have on the hourly time frame if we would be able to take some kind of position. So let's actually keep the previous zones, going to keep this area, just putting it to more transparent because can't see much. So this is the local area that sellers have completely taken over. You can see 1, 2, 3 buyers even didn't even try to take over this area. So most probably what right now is going to happen are two things. We're going to look for this area here, which is the local low in the smaller time frames. Let's put it as a line. And also we are going to keep an eye on those zones here. So this area here, this area here, and also potentially this approximate zone here. Now these zones are going to be the zones from where we are going to look for any kind of entry for either a short position or a smaller long position. So going to break it down. If we see the breakdown from this area, so sellers lose dominance, buyers lose dominance, sellers take over, then this would be an ideal continuation area with the potential breakout structure forming here. Now if we see that buyers actually continue to grow, this would be a two-way area for us. So one way would be seeing a bounce and then a movement to lower zones. Other way would be if we see a continuation, so a breakout structure with like this and movement from here. This would be the breakout structure area for us. From here we would be looking for the market structure break, of course, because it's a trend reversal. So, and the last point would be if we see a long from here, this would be the smaller target, which is like $0.088. And from here we would be looking for a short position. So basically, shorting opportunity, long opportunity, and short opportunity. Overall, on the bigger time frame, as we mentioned already, there is a high probability that we will see a further downside pressure and overall downside movement, even to lower zones, probably with the same steady pace that we had so far. So going to keep an eye more on those areas here. Most ideally this zone and this zone. So if you're lazy to keep an eye overall on all these coins, or not the coins, but all these time frames, and just consistently look for a potential movement or a breakdown or a breakout or a mark structure break or breakout structure, then what you can do is just go by the easy way, open short position here, keeping stop loss approximately here, going to the 4-hour time frame for this setup, and just setting the target, let's say 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. Now this whole red area would be a zone where we would distribute our entries. So let's say we go with 1% entry here. If we see a further upside movement, we top up the position with additional 1%, then additional 1% here, and maybe probably stop loss would be somewhere in this region. So if we would hit all this take areas, so entry areas, the average entry would be somewhere in this region, and the risk reward ratio for this trade would be 1, 2, 3. And also we wouldn't miss any kind of opportunity if we see an actual downside momentum. Then you wouldn't have to actually look all day on the chart and wait for the price to either break out, break down, or do whatever. Or the other thing, you can just put the alerts on the trading view and just wait for them. But this is the ideal setup that we're waiting for. If we see the breakdown from here, then of course we're going to see the further downside movement. And as mentioned already on the daily time frame, we are most probably going to see a further movement to the lower zones, breaking fully this area where sellers take full control. And right now this 12% movement don't even seem that big of a deal, because if we see the breakdown, most probably this breakdown will be pretty sharp, similar to this one. So as we are right now in this phase, if we see any kind of upside movement, then mark structure break, and then you can see this stronger downside candle, which resulted in a further or continuation to lower zones. This can happen same here. So this is the overall plan on the Polygon token. We are expecting to see the downside movement once again, and on the smaller time frames there are multiple opportunities that can be caught, with the first being of course this sell side momentum here if we see the continuation of the breakdown from here. So anyways, that's it for today. If you like this video, feel free to leave a comment, and I will catch you on the next video.